Good afternoon. This is the Great Jew Atheist, and this is podcast number 14, and today is October 17th, 2018, and the topic is life, okay? If you're watching this podcast, please press the like button and comment, and if you want to email me, please do so at greatjewatheist@gmail.com. Okay, so today's subtopic is my 90 days of sobriety. It's actually now 91, and we're working on 92. And I don't foresee, until I get back to work, that's when I probably gonna trip up. But so in a 7-part series, I've already discussed the Psych ward, so we won't talk more about that. So I'd like to talk today about my experience since the Psych ward. And the first thing is, a sister sets up a sober house for me. So August 6th is the day I need to leave, and it seems like it was the last second that no one wanted to take me in. And there was discussion. On August 6th, I had to be out of there. I was ready. August 1st, the insurance had stopped paying in the Psych ward, and I was losing my mind. I was ready to kill myself, but you can't kill yourself in the Psych ward. And so my sister Dale and my sister Aline come to the Psych ward on August 6th, and we meet, with two social workers, and one of my sisters, Aline, screaming at one of the social workers, and so it's a fascinating situation. And so they tell me to leave, and they want to discuss because they can't send me home, and my house is atrocious. I was drunk. I was a hoarder. I wasn't really a hoarder. I was more just a messy guy who was lazy and things piled up. And so I get it. This talk that I might go to my. We'll talk more about my brother-in-law's mother passing away during this period, and there was some talk about me possibly going there to stay for a week or two until the apartment was ready. Okay, let me just get this little dirt off. All right, I don't know what that means, but some kind of sunshiny thing coming on the screen. So finally, my sister Dale steps up because no one else in the family would take me in, basically, and really have a lot to thank for her. I'm not going to thank God, of course, because I'm an atheist. So let me go in there, see what this effect is and how to get rid of it. So I walk out of the Psych ward with my two sisters, get in my sister Helene's Lexus, and we drive to my sister's house on August 6th, and there's my first night in my sober house, and it's a new beginning. So first things go well. One of my sisters is pushing me to go to AA meetings. First night, got to go to AA meetings. It's like, I just got out of a really tough experience, and I see the aggravated assault. It was not good. I don't think she realized that. She wanted me to leave. It's August 6th. She wanted me to go August 7th. Oh, they got plenty of meetings in Long Island. It's like a little missugared, but someone calmed her down, And by the way, discuss things have worked out perfectly so far, I think, So at first, things go well. The only thing that wasn't going well, they tried to get me in this program called Micah. So I go to Flushing, and so one of the big things is they want to get me into groups of people talking about their addiction. And, Flushing is mostly, if you don't live in New York City, is mostly Asian, mostly Chinese, and a good smattering of Koreans, too. And so I go in, and we have talked to a very nice social worker, a very sweet woman. And what happens is they have groups in Elmhurst, but they're all in Chinese. Now, or we might have English groups at some point. So, not good. Yeah, it's not good. So, one of my sisters, again, Lean, she's a fighter. I'll give her that. She's really pissed off, and she, calls, one of the women, and the social work, the head social worker at the hospital, and they finally arranged for this place they work for. They can't do inpatient rehab because I have to go directly from the psych ward to the inpatient. Now, if I had said I wanted, at first I said I didn't think I needed, because this is my first time, but everyone's saying, you're not going to get your job back if you don't show you're at least making an effort to, try to show that you're sobering up, So what happens is we decide that this micro program isn't good. So we have to $20, which again, in my situation, is a lot of money. They fall upon this place called I won't say the name. It's in Kew Gardens, and they say outpatient clinic. They also have some inpatients, which I wish I would have gone to. Get away for a month, you can jog, you can weightlift, you got groups all day, and it seems kind of nice, So I'm in, center of Long Island, so I have to go, and, obviously, it's a good plan, because eventually what would happen was, eventually I would be in my apartment, we thought, very shortly, and I would go, from my apartment to Kew Gardens, which is not that long. It's, even though the New York City subway does conspire against me, I get up an hour and a half. I get into the shower at 8:30 and I have to be there at 10. So I normally get there half hour early, and I think that's a good habit, try to get a place early is one thing that I, never did. And I don't understand the importance of it. It's really important. So I'm going, so it works out really well because my sister has her job in Forest Hills, and that is, again, the next town over in Queens. So things are working out very good. Now, so every day I'm going to Kew Gardens, and my sister's dropping me off, and certain things start to happen, that you don't foresee. First of all, it's really expensive, because I'm only there for, an hour, 3 days a week. I got Tuesdays and Fridays off. And during that hour, what happens is, so I go, I go in the groups. I like them, I become a big mouth, actually. No one else talks. Maybe talk about a little what goes on at these outpatient rehabs. And obviously, you get a lot of dregs of society there, and they're just doing that because they have child support issues. They have, all kinds of stuff going on. So, it also gets really expensive because now I got to get home to get to, center of Long Island, Nassau, near the Nassau-Suffolk border, and what happens is that. So I get home, I get there, I have to take the Long Island Railroad, and first of all, Long Island Railroad, it's $20 a co-payment to get into these outpatient clinics, so that's $60 a week right there, okay? So the design, we didn't think well of the design at first, I think, but I guess there was no other way around this, my sister has to work, she can't pick me up and take me, or maybe I could have waited, whatever. So it starts to get expensive, so now you got $9.75. Now some days, so now I got to get from the train for the stop in Hicksville to my sister's house, which is in Plainview. I couldn't admit where it is. I don't think people are going to hunt me down, possibly. So now that's another problem because it's about, you say, well, maybe you could take public transportation, maybe you could walk. Long Island does not have public transportation. You got to drive a little to your 98, then you flop over and die, whatever you go. So what happened was going home was a problem because I was lucky. I was able to catch a ride a few times with my older sister, Helene, sometimes my brother, Scott, but many times with my niece, Tara. I was very good about it. And what happened, though, but sometimes I didn't get a ride. So it would cost me about $12. And, of course, I'm kind of generous. I feel bad. The guy gave him a $3 tip. I hope my relatives don't watch this because I'd be pissed off. And that comes out to $15. So you're looking at $35 just for starters, So it was a very expensive stay at the sober house for, again, a guy with limited means. By the way, so you might say, well, you have no money. I was lucky that my sister, again, she saved my life. I don't know how to thank her. I feel guilty almost. And you just go with it. Sometimes you just got to go with something. Was able to talk, and she got me on sick leave with half pay. I guess the idea being that I'm trying to get help, and and such is the case. Now, another thing that started to happen is talking with my sister, and in the car. So we talked a lot, and basically my sister is the exact opposite of me. I'm an atheist. She believes in God. She's very neat, and she's very, aggressive, and she, even on the weekend, she's running around, her and her husband, and everything, and I don't see when they take I'm a guy who just likes to relax and sit down and read, and, on my free time, I mean, to me, everything should be free time, right? But you do have to work, and a lot of the arguments sort of stem from that, and about 5, 6 times, the arguments became, and she always had this thing, yeah, you're gonna be homeless, and she had this thing, in the car, and she just in fact, twice she missed exits, and we had to go back, and then a lot of times I was late, because, we hit traffic, and, and I hate being late now. That's one thing I didn't hate being, and I had to change that for good. So we get into a little arguments, in the beginning, okay. Now, I continue to get in some really bad dust-ups with my sister, and a lot of them to deal with getting back into my apartment. So first of all, my landlord says basically, I want to evict him, because he's like a real, he probably has a good point, he's probably getting heat from the board of directors, it's a whole, shebang, and, I guess they probably say, listen, he has a mental disability, he has an alcoholism problem, he's getting help, just give him a chance, and she did a really good job. So finally, one of the conversations went okay, and then they cleaned out the apartment finally, and, it took a while to get me back in, because once they cleaned the apartment, then we wanted it painted, and of course the cheapo landlord, I want to give you one coat. And I think they told a story of, one time I was at my other sister's house, and she was just yelling at me, and it was just a whole mess. In fact, a couple other relatives were yelling at me, and one week I was thinking of calling back and getting to Zucker for 3 days, which is the psychiatric hospital, because I couldn't take it anymore. I just was like, how do I kill myself? The problem is I'm on the ground floor. I had knives, but I don't like knives. So it's a really bad situation. And I was hurting their privacy, and I just felt bad about everything, and couldn't get back in, and then so finally they painted, and by accident I contacted HPD, and that's a whole story in itself. And you would figure a city agency, first of all, the apartment had to be in a decent condition. I'm paying rent, and there were arguments like how good of a condition should it be in? And I was like, it should not be perfect, but I want my kitchen. They're like, oh, no, you're not going to have a kitchen. And so we got the painting done, but calling HPD, and they say HPD says it wasn't a serious, and I told them exactly what was wrong, that the kitchen, and there's a hole, and and these things weren't fixed by the super yet, and they were like, I call it eviction by proxy. They're gonna, they just can't live in a place. Why keep paying the rent? So there got to be some, So finally, the HPD worked. I couldn't believe it, because these city agencies in New York City are notorious for their poor response. And in fact, they told me, well, they're going to tell that this thing got to be fixed, and if it's not fixed within a certain amount of time, we're going to send an inspector. You know what happened? They sent the inspector immediately, and the fucking super and the landlord started shitting their pants, and the place got painting, the hole got sealed, and the kitchen even got fixed. I can't believe it. The guy said, "Guy did a terrific job," and if he ever, needs a reference, he will get he took basically nothing and converted to something decent. I could actually go in my kitchen and cook burger. It's terrific, and I got back in and, but during the period, I got some really bad arguments with the sister. I remember the last day, and I said to her, "Listen, relax, so it's good. Don't tell me to relax." And everything was, I thought she was headed for, psychiatric help or something. I would always blame myself, but to me, a lot of the stuff that was going on, she took too much, I think. The other relatives didn't do enough. I probably didn't do enough, and again, probably good in a way, because I could be very volatile. That's what they were scared of. And and a lot of things happened, it's weird. A lot of bad things happened to my sister during the period. First of all, right in the second, right before I was released from the psychiatric hospital, her mother-in-law died. And she was 92, and she was a great woman, and that's a little rough. And and I know my brother-in-law has lost both his parents, and again, 92 is a good life, but it's never easy. It's you can't say, but yeah, it's hard. And I don't know if you can ever get over. I have trouble even to this day getting over the loss of my parents. I see someone talking with their mother, and about my mom, and I get upset. I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad, I don't have anything. So my mother-in-law died, and then we find out after, that was before I got into the sober house. Now, after I'm in the sober house, one of her best friends has colon cancer, stage 3 at this point. And stage 3 became, and stage 3 is not, death's door generally. It's not good, okay? Stage 3 can get to stage 4 rather quickly, and stage 4 is the end. So within a month, things got really bad. I guess they went to stage 4, and basically, and I knew my friend, my sister's friend. She's a very nice woman, and I felt terrible too. And of course she died, and it was she could die any day. And a week went by, and sure enough, she died. And it's just such a terrible disease. It's cancer. It's really bad. So that's a little stress for her, and she had me, of course, and tremendous problems with the. We'll talk about that. And the woman in the. Okay, so then they have. She works in a Y. She's like an assistant vice president of this YMHA, which is like a YMCA for Jews. And they have one also in Little Neck, right? And of course, the woman who has the same position there has a heart attack. She's 57, same age as my sister, but my sister's in really terrific shape. And so she basically has to kind of cover for her, look over the Y and until this woman recovers 1 month, right? So it's going to take her about 1 month. So she has this tremendous problems getting into the apartment, but everything worked out finally. And I was moved back, I think Sunday, September 6th. I remember it was the Vikings against the Bills. I'm a big Viking fan. And what happened was, I couldn't watch the game, of course, because it was helping the move back. And so I got on my phone, and it said Bills 24. And first of all, it said Minnesota. And Minnesota is probably, talent-wise, the best team in the NFL. and they had, and they were favored by 16 and a half, and the Bills are just a horrible team, supposedly. And of course, I turned my vote, and and the Bills are leading the Vikings 24-0. And this is at Minnesota, too, which is like a really hard place to win. And eventually, what happens is that the Vikings lose 27-6. I was trying to get updates, but my family's yelling, "Are you doing nothing on my way? You can help us." Like they're on me like a fucking hawk, like everything was real. And so this is really rough. So I finally get back into the apartment, and things, really, I'm really looking up, so I finally get back in maybe September 16th. So now it's been a month, and so I talk to the director of the facility I go to, the outpatient facility, and he says to me, I tell him about, I think I want to go back to Zucker. I mean, my relatives drive me crazy. He goes, why don't you do IOP? Now, IOP is intensive outpatient. So instead of an hour, 3 days a week, I go 5 days a week, and I get, in 5 hours, like 3 hours a day, and, from Tuesday to Saturday. And it turns out that the facilitator, I knew because she used to be, the secretary for my psychiatrist, and she eventually, graduated from Columbia with an MCSW, and she's terrific, and she's only 30 years old, and so she's really good, and, I really liked her, and I thought she's good, and I got really, and about 2 weeks in, I have what's called a one-on-one. Now, in the psych ward, that has a different meaning, and I think I discussed that. But a one-on-one means, she comes in and you talk about things. And what happened was, I said, well, I don't know if the insurance could pay, because that's what I want to talk about. And sure enough, the insurance stopped paying. So I was like, Laura, I gotta go back. You're the best. Because I really like this woman, and she's only like 30 years old, I think, and she's really good. And I'm like, so that really upset me, and I liked in the group. I did get a couple of arguments because I think they're a bunch of whining maggots, most of them. I mean, a lot of them multiple rehabs, they're all on Medicaid. The government's paying for everything, and I'm paying, a lot of money. I mean, it comes out $100 a week, and for a guy of my situation, that is not good. So that's that, and so the IOP became no IOP, but I do go to groups 5 days a week. I'm trying to also do more things. I'm also seeing a psychologist who, turns out, that was one of the arguments. One of the big arguments was he lives in my building, and he used to be on the board of directors of my co-op. And my sister was, and he's also, another thing, he's also 85 years old, but he's terrific, this guy. I mean, he's really good, He's like, and he doesn't want to retire. You see, I was thinking, why retire? Work till they drop. Especially if you like your job. If you don't like your job, that's a different story. But if you like your job, work till you drop. That's my theory. So he's terrific, and she was really upset. She goes, he's going to say something, and you'll get kicked out. And you go, well, first of all, I don't think it's a problem. He goes, even if it's a little percent. I go, first of all, you can't say something because it says something called patient-client confidentiality. He said, no, it doesn't matter. You can say something. And so I see the gentleman around my building twice. I never really saw him before. I used to see him at my sister's wedding about 30 years ago. He looks exactly the same. So he's 80. I mean, he's 85, and it's like nothing's slowing this guy down. He's like terrific. He's a really good guy. And first, I think I've been through now 4 therapy sessions. And I think the first one, he kind of pissed me off to the end. He said something that got me upset. But the last 3 I thought were very good. And the last one, I think I hit some kind of like snap moment, like a moment, life-changing moment, and it was towards the end, and I'm so anxious. I go tomorrow, and I just want to discuss it. It has something to do basically with my sexuality and why I don't do well with women, even though I like women. Maybe I'm a fagel, I don't know. It's politically correct world, a homosexual or a queer. Sometimes the queer is acceptable. So that's the, so I also, every Tuesday night, and again, I'm trying to add things. I'm probably going to try to go to another group at least. And also there's some free activities in the city. I got this website that gives you free activities called clubfreetime.com. And so I'm going to try to go there. I'll probably add this week, I've had a couple of personal issues come up that I need to address, and kind of, no drinking still. I'm still sober, but other things that I don't like, and I need to address them because they could conceivably give me a problem. So I want to address them. So I haven't regressed. I mean, in terms of when I went to the outpatient clinic, I would come in sweats and a t-shirt. And then I said to myself, and I saw this guy, and I actually didn't like the guy too much. He was one of these guys, so he was a tough guy. And he came in really dressed one day. I said, I'm going to do that. So first thing I did was I started wearing collared shirts every day. And now I'm starting to wear collared shirts and a tie. So in that area, I've picked up my game. So my theory is that you need to always pick up your game somewhat, If you're not picking up your game, then you're not doing well. So I'm picking up my game. So I'm dressing good. In fact, tomorrow I'm going with a bow tie. So I don't know if that's a good idea, to go with a bow tie. It looks a little ridiculous, and they're hard to put on. And it's not one of those bow ties you tie yourself too. It's kind of a clip-on. So, but so I go to this SOS, and it's called Secular Organization for Sobriety, which basically is agnostics. But it's not atheist enough for me. I need something more atheist. And actually, I'm thinking of starting my own group, Atheist Sobriety. That means we are atheists. We don't, agnostic is lightweight atheist. That means we basically say, let them have their crazy stuff. We won't. But I feel that I'm a militant atheist. I think religion is harmful to the psyche, and I think religion is also bad for society, okay? And maybe I'm Stalin, maybe I'm Mao Zedong, but I think it's a really bad thing. And maybe that would be, I've been having trouble coming up with topics, maybe that, why is religion harmful? I mean, well, first of all, it's untrue, okay? It's total nonsense. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of religions, and they all have the right method, but it's actually all money-making schemes, of course, and they go, so that's a good podcast. Why do I think that religion is harmful to both the self and the psyche of the self and society as a whole? That would be really good, I think. And again, I mean, you have to be dumb to believe in gods or goddesses, because they don't exist, right? Get some Pengbird philosophy. Hopefully that'll come off. Okay. Now, so I'm going to SOS. It's not bad. It's my first AA type support group. My only reservation is some of the people kind of like a little stuck up. They're not like liberally. I'm a conservative. I don't like the left. I think they're responsible for many of the problems in the country. And again, we could talk about the outpatient clinic in more detail at some point. My experiences there, even got to a big argument with this guy. I said the word Trump, and they went bananas, and it's amazing. Just don't say that word. It's like saying the N-word, You can probably get them, and it's amazing how, that they just try to stifle your freedom of speech. It's like murder. If you wear if you get the American, make America great. I just would like to see how people react to it. Not that I'm not a big Trump fan. I don't like the way he conducts himself. I don't find him professional. So I'm not a big Trump fan. So, but look at the guy, what he's doing, is he policy's bad or his policy's good, to me that's important, but again, never a big guy in politics, politics are not that important to me. So I'm trying to dress better. I had things to do, and again, I got, more support groups, see people, meet people, it's funny, the story, so I go to the SOS, and so I go to the bathroom, and I see two girls. One girl, so I first started talking to her, and she had mentioned that she doesn't like to go to AA, she's out of town, because AA is too much religious-y, too many God this, God that, pray. And so I talked to her. I said, listen, I'm a militant atheist. And I told her, and the problem is she's out of town, and she didn't seem too interested. So I got to go at train. But I had a nice conversation in there. So again, you're not going to fuck every girl. Actually, I'm not going to fuck any girls. But, so why is religion bad? I got to remember. That's my next podcast. I'm going to be working on this one, it just makes people stupid. It's so dumb. It makes you fucking dumb. I blame it for some of my shit that I've gone through. It just makes you fucking stupid. You gotta be dumb to believe these things. It's like, and again, there's probably some, it's interesting, they had Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris, and there's definitely an evolutionary pressure, I guess. People that believed in religions probably were more successful. They didn't give up as much, and they passed on their genes, and there's probably some genes for religiosity, right? Okay, so, I'm trying to keep this brief. I'm trying to think of anything else. But, so I'm getting the half pay. I get home. Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is the best period of my life. I also go to a quote-unquote food pantry, which is sometimes known as a soup kitchen. So I go there every day. So I really, I go there, and that's a story in itself. I call a guy the real-life soup Nazi, okay? Because the people, they want food, and it's a small little place, and he's yelling at, "Fuck you! Move the fuck away from the door!" And and I have this saying: the best thing you could see is someone under pressure, unless it's you, okay? So, but I say that I'm having a great time. This is the best period of my life. I am really enjoying this. My apartment's clean. I have time to do things. I'm feeling good, and I'm like, this is really good, and I'm very, I'm happy for once. It's like, I don't want to kill myself. So maybe I should start taking better care of myself. Lose some weight. I really don't want to kill myself. I even got hope on the job is supposedly I'm going to get that back. It looks really good. I mean, one bad thing, though, knowing that I haven't been looking. So that's a problem. So a good thing is that, so the job, also, I'm going to train for another career, too, and possibly from that. So it looks very good that I'm going to get what's called a vested type thing. I used to teach vested students, it's funny, and I'm going to get a vested type thing. I don't know what vested stands for, just like drugs and drunks and cokeheads. I'm probably a part of, unfortunately. It's that number, man. I need a coke. So like Ritalin, that was the greatest one. I used to get, oh man, I used to snort that shit. And you were like, wow. That is the fucking best shit, man. I tell you, you gotta snort Ritalin. That is so good. It is just so fucking good. So fucking good, friend. It's so good. You got to try it. So, really, I'm happy right now. So, and it's a really good time. Again, things could get troubling, though, real quick. And I can't be too happy, and I have to say, okay, there could be some problems, and so, but you might say, well, yes, well, have you had urges? Well, I'm on a drug called Topamax, and I think that's helping. But once in a while I say, wow, wouldn't it be nice to more alone, have a nice 3 or 4 beers? But then I say, well, that could lead to problems, and in terms of my sobriety, and I'm really proud of my sobriety, and I've been alone now, and there have been no slip-ups, and I still need something now. I'm the jerking off is king, man. I've been doing. I'm having trouble on that, because I'm on this finasteride, which is kind of. I still get it, but I don't know why. I'm just. I got all these good videos to watch, and so that's like my only real pleasure, in eating. You can see the stomach is getting up there. Eating is a definite pleasure. So that's the problem. I don't really have many drugs, These are the drugs that standard non-alcoholics, and sober people have. Food and exercise is good, but Ritalin's the best, So if you get a hell of some Ritalin, snort it. It's really fucking good. I cannot do that anymore. I can't take Xanax or I love Klonopin, and it's so good, man. You sleep and you're calm and beautiful. Peace. Yeah, worries. It's just really good. These are good things. People say, "Oh, you think?" Never. Always thinking, man. Wow, if I could just get that Ritalin. You just convince that psychiatrist. I got to get like that. Because I did learn to use it. I think I do need it. If it could. The problem is the temptation will be great, and I'm trying to say, don't even ask for it, because if you ask for it and you get it, I'm going to be snorting that motherfucker, because you snort a little of that, there is no way of stopping. It is just so fucking good. You have never felt better. I can't describe it. It's just, you're like, wow, I feel fucking good. I just want to stay up all night. I just want to fucking do shit. I mean, it's the greatest drug ever invented, Ritalin. And it makes you want to live and do shit, okay? There is no, it's too hard. But I think, one of the good things is, since I have a little free time on my hand, I'm setting things up, and you could do that without the drugs, Problem when the job comes back, eventually I have to go back to work. I will be training for a drug treatment counselor, and so, hopefully if I get that, and I should, I'm a great student, I'm smart, I'll probably be the smartest guy in the class. That Jew over there, I got to talk about the arms acres, the anti-Semitism of the African Americans is amazing. Maybe I'll do a podcast on that. It's amazing how much they hate Jews. Like, the Jew is the devil. Everyone hates Jews. That's an amazing thing, because they're successful, You hate, and they make it, these are the people, instead of saying, what have they done well? Let me copy from them, And we'll talk about that. I think that's but the one I want to talk about with religion first, and I'll tell you, some religions are good. Like Judaism, I think, is an excellent religion because it's not taken seriously, or it can be worked in to one's lifestyle. But I think most religions are just a bunch of delusions, if you're fucking working on a fucking garbage truck and you believe in God and it's not satisfying, but I always got God. No, there's no God. You're praying, you're just saying empty words. Maybe the companionship, or, we'll discuss it. So to sum up, I'm just having a great time. I wish this could go on forever. I forgot. So the story at the SOS. So I meet, that's one girl. She didn't seem too interested. Then this other girl comes right up to me, and she's like touching her hair, and she's violating my personal space, and she's like, I could see her breasts, and I'm like, wow. She's like 29, good-looking girl too. No, not a beauty, but really nice, and she had big tits, and I'm like, wow. And she's like, well, the only reason I'm here is because my class was canceled. And like a dick, I said, oh, that sucks. I said, like a dick, I should have said, well, what she's telling me, she's making these fucking signals like, I'll fuck you tonight, There's a lot of these girls who, you got to find the right one. They could be, and that's what I need. I need some fucking pussy, boys allowed to get the pussy. So, and she was, and like a dick, and I'm so fucking inept. I didn't figure out that she wanted, I should have said, well, maybe we could talk, a little bit. Maybe we could meet for a cup of coffee sometime, after I come to a group, maybe after class none or before class or, something, and so like, and the worst you could say, well, I don't think that's a good idea. My pussy is not for sale, it's not, my sobriety comes first, whatever, so, okay, I understand, and you just take yourself out of the situation, you get the fuck out of there. But again, I get really hurt, rejected, and so now she literally says next week now, so I was all excited, and of course she's not back, class wasn't canceled. But I have to think, what if the class is canceled again, which could happen. Although another good thing is that if I keep on going to this group, there's going to be a point where there's no more classes, because colleges, they have their, it's like it's the greatest life, because they have, the classes end, and then you have a big break in January. I'll be there, and she'll be there, and I'm going to be on that ass, but by then she'll be like, oh, I'm fucking some other guy. Okay, so we hit about the 40-minute point, and it's a very good podcast. And again, the next one, and this is going to be a good one, is going to be religion, why I think it's bad, and it will be 2 parts, why it's bad for the psyche, and why it's bad for the society in general. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and again, please comment on the video and email me at greatjewatheist@gmail.com.